You must have
Okay.
had some impact on them because I received a study on it. Thank you for this.
I haven't done, we haven't gotten what we want yet. That we have, I mean, we've started the process. We're not there yet. But
Is the DA's gonna bring in extra reserves today? Get that done?
Oh, yes. Oh, we're gonna get something done today.
Do I gotta go to my? What dates do you have? No, I gotta go with the bunch.
All right.
well,
So everyone, good morning. And this is our last day until next year. But of course, everyone, you know, I'll be available by computer. So if there's anything that needs to be sent to me, you can send it to me. And of course, we have our presiding judge that'll be available as well. So today is sort of the day where attorneys, you guys are allowed to bring whatever you want to bring. If there's something you have, let me know. We'll take care of it as quickly as possible. And bundle up. Did you guys hear there was some kind of thing that hit the earth?
No.
Yeah, and it said it messed up the magnetic field or something. And they're waiting for and they're yeah. And they're waiting for it to close. There's some kind of hole in the atmosphere. I mean, in the planet or something. Okay, am I the only one person who heard about this?
I didn't hear about
We don't
that.
listen to those channels.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yes. So
Sometimes ignorance is bliss. Like,
yeah. Well, you need to be prepared. Like, what was the name of the movie where they stand on the beach and they hold each other?
Deep impact.
Yes, Deep Impact. Don't you want to be able to know, or do you just want to be sitting at a
No,
restaurant
I don't want to know.
and the aquarium explodes over everybody?
Yeah.
The question is, can we fix it? Like, if we can't fix it, I don't know that I want to.
Yeah.
Well, what do you want to know? I mean, sort of like in the 80s movie Comet. I know I'm aging myself and people haven't seen Comet, but yeah. So it says mysterious shock waves hit the magnetosphere that protects the planet from dangerous space radiation.
And that wasn't coming in order area?
Yeah.
That is.
You know,
So now we have something
Now that
to,
we have that.
there you go. I guess we could be like Woody Harrelson and eat pickles. That's from the other, disaster movie. So everyone, I'm going to call the docket very quickly. We have Kevin Rangel that's in custody. Jarrell Wickerson. Valerie Martinez, Christopher Garcia, Elisa Herrera, Abrado Garcia, Pedro Martinez is in custody. The attorney here for Ignacio Carrion, he's supposed to be entering a plea downstairs. Jalen Collins, Danny Acosta, Mario Hiwiti. All right, and Mr. Acosta, thank you for being here.
Oh, no, I'm Mario here. I'm sorry.
Oh, Mario Guerra. All right, thank you. Sean Smith. We have David White, Juan Carranza in custody, Jimmy Vasquez, Isaac Lowe, Aaron Salazar, Jackson Youngblood is in custody, Michael Campos, and Concia Roper. All right, thank you. All right, everyone, attorneys, you know the rules. Keep the center of the courtroom as least congested as possible. I have a friend who is now at the doctor's office and they're requiring mandatory masks. So that means that there may be something that's coming. So don't give your relatives or anybody the gift for the holidays that is illness. So wash your hands, take care, and everyone please confer. All right, you're on Alejandro De Leon. All right, have you conferred with the
I
state?
did a couple days ago, Judge, and I just say that for reference, he's not remembering, and their position is they would defer to you, and they're not in agreement, but they're not opposed.
All right, so here's my question on this.
Yes, sir.
Does he have a new vehicle?
He doesn't, because he is. We have the order to remove the ignition interlock if he puts scram on, and so because he cannot afford the scram, we have not had him remove the ignition interlock because I believe that would violate the spirit of the.
So
original
is there
order.
something cheaper than Scram? I think there is.
Well, he's on the handheld
All right.
and he's willing to do whatever you need him to do regarding blows. I think right now he's at 3 blows a day, whatever supervision you need, he's more than willing to do it. I think his request is just that he be given the time on just the handheld. Our request is that he just be allowed to do the handheld, and then as soon as he gets that new car, we'll get the ignition interlock in.
All right. Did you explain that to the state?
I did.
All right, Daniel, they're saying on Mr. DeLeon that he's already on the handheld device.
Okay.
And that Scram is very expensive, but he's done an affidavit of non-driving.
Okay.
And that once he begins driving again, of course, I'm going to want ignition interlock on that vehicle. So do you have any objection to removal of Scram as long as he has the handheld? And you can do how many ever blows you want per day?
I think the only concern that I had whenever I was on the fence was that it's an indeterminate amount of time for him to make the sale. You're gonna put like a time limit on, he has to actually.
Well, I mean, he doesn't have a vehicle. So I mean, is the vehicle in his possession?
The vehicle he wants to sell is in his possession. It is basically undrivable. And so what he's trying to do is to get it in to get his other vehicle. So what we can ask for is 2 weeks. I mean, I feel,
See, I thought the sale was imminent. And this is, where it comes in that you're not supposed to make assumptions.
and I apologize, Judge, if that was
No, no, no.
that's not your.
Oh, I understand. I'll take blame for that because I always ask questions because I think communication is key. I just don't want him driving at all. And so he's done an affidavit of non-driving.
Yep.
I understand he can't afford the Scram in the handheld. And I want him monitored on something.
And again, the state's fine with the handheld. Again, it was just an indeterminate time frame that I was wondering about. It's not really like he has to get it done by this date. Or, you know what I mean?
May I request just a status update then? If the
Well-
idea is we're gonna put him on another device because he no longer has the ignition interlock.
All right, this is what I suggest, and you both can tell me how you feel about this. I suggest that he be on the handheld, not the Scram, that we come back on January 9th to see where we are with this car sale.
That's perfect, Judge.
Okay,
If it please the court, would you be satisfied if only I returned, or would you like our client to come as well?
have your client come
Perfect.
so we can get some update from him.
Okay. And if we finish the purchase and everything, may I inform the court, and would you still want us to come that day?
Yes, but just if he completes the purchase, if he has a new vehicle, then there's not supposed to be any downtime. He's immediately supposed to be on Scram with a new vehicle. So- I'm sorry, ignition interlock. So I don't want him driving at all unless there's ignition interlock on the vehicle.
100% that is understood and what we're communicating. And we will be here on the 9th.
All right, so we'll remove Scram, portable unit to remain. And we will recall this for January 9th. And how many times a day is he blowing with the portable?
3.
All right, so we're gonna up that because I know how things are with holiday parties.
Yes, Judge.
State, how many times would you request that he blow into the portable? He's only doing 3 times.
Intoxicant.
He's doing 3 times a day.
But the holidays are upcoming, so I think it needs to be more than 3.
See, I was thinking 5.
Okay,
Trying to think how many hours in here. 6 times would be every. Yeah, but I think 5.
fine, okay.
Yeah, just 4 hours. Yes. I'm saying.
Okay, and then we'll come back. So state, we're gonna come back on Alejandro De Leon, cause number 2018 CR 8641 on January 9th, and that's for us to get a status update on the sale of this vehicle.
And then hopefully we can return all the conditions back to. That's what we'll be asking for at the police report.
Okay,
I'm guessing he has a existing interlock on that vehicle.
Thank you, Judge.
all right, you're welcome. Have a great one.
May
Be
I,
safe out there.
Andy, excuse,
Yes.
I'll come back for now.
All right, I don't have the docket sheet.
Oh,
All right, and this says volume 2.
yeah, it has a.
Here's this.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Brenda, they tell me that it's going to be freezing.
Yeah, I think so.
No, it-
And Your Honor, there's no one in the hallway. There's no one in the hallway.
Ah, well, that's gonna be an issue.
Yeah. You were the best prosecutor in this office that was born on the day. that you were born.
You don't share a birthday with anyone, do you?
I don't think- I think everybody believes. No, that's not it.
Yeah.
No, try again.
I don't see that.
Oh, and Brenda, an earthquake struck California. Yes. All right, Deputy Mejia, am I the only one who heard about the earth or something striking the Earth's atmosphere and hitting it at the core, and now there's this hole? Okay, so you know what, Brenda, now I see. I'm not gonna be able to call you all because you all are not gonna have the information.
We won't know.
Is it like an inner earth, like Avatar?
Oh, it's out there.
Yeah. No. Whenever.
All right, and Lupe,
Yes, sir.
I need the violation reports that are on this docket.
Yes, sir. Welcome. And then here's the docket sheet on that.
Well, those papers right there.
That may not have.
Number 7.
Perfect.
We didn't have the ties at this time. Let's recall. Yeah.
All right, can you pull this off? Thank you.
A mixture of.
All right, and these are done. And just follow that motion for neutral.
That's compliance hearing.
Okay. Is Roper here?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, if you come forward, Ms. Roper. Hello. All right, so Ms. Roper. Of course, there have been some issues with you on probation. So in order to successfully complete probation, you gotta have a place to stay, right? And you can't be jumping around from place to place. Whatever your problems are, whatever the miscommunications are, whatever is going on with you and your family or the people you're living with, even if you move somewhere else, those problems are still going to remain. And people need to learn how to communicate, and they need to learn how to communicate without anger. And they need to learn how to communicate without being vicious in their communication. Because there's a way to talk to somebody if you have an issue with that person, as opposed to being unkind in your conversation with them. And Brenda, I will tell you, you know what I discovered? The saying, I feel, at the beginning of a sentence, that sort of makes everybody not be on alert for negative things that are about to come after I feel. It's sort of like when I send an email and I say, good morning.
Yeah.
The temperature hasn't been fixed in 3 years. But see, the good morning softens the blow. So my understanding is you're asking to be transferred to Guadalupe County?
No, she informed me that the address that I had given her, I lived with my parents.
Mhm.
And my parents recently moved from Converse and they moved to Cibolo.
Mhm.
And she recently told me that that address that I had given her for my parents' address, before then I was living basically in my own apartment, but it was under my sister's name. I guess some issues came about with that because she's never there and she works out of town. So the apartment complex didn't want me there due to my felony probation. So me and my children had to move back in with my my mother and my father.
Mhm.
So I had gave her the 111 Bob White Cibolo, Texas address, and she had informed me that was out of their county, that it was Guadalupe.
Okay.
I had mentioned to her that I didn't plan on staying there way too long. I gave my parents a 3 to 4 month time frame for me to just find a place and get somewhere else, that if I could still stay on the Bexar County probation. And she stated, because I do live out of the county, that I have to transfer.
All right, and how many children do you have?
I have 2, and I currently found out I have another one.
So here's the thing about that. How old are your children?
5 and 2.
All right. So let me explain something that I hope you already know as a parent. Children need stability. They can't be moving from place to place to place to place. And I can tell you, I understand why you were probably saying, hey, let me live at my sister's place. The apartment will be under her name. But you know, at some point, the apartment complex was going to find out. And now that's just caused more upheaval. It would have been better for you to speak to the apartment complex and for your sister to speak to the apartment complex and say, this is what my history is. This is what my sister's history is. Will she be allowed to stay here? So even when you're looking for a new place to stay, you still need to tell them the history, because ultimately they're going to find out about it anyway. it's sort of like when you're looking for employment. And as a defense attorney, I had several clients, I would always tell them, get in the door, get your interview, let them see you, talk to you. And then you can tell them, by the way, this is my background, I'm trying to better myself. Either you're gonna say yes or no. But if you're dishonest and they find out about it, they're just gonna think, oh, you're acting in conformity to what you're charged with because you're being dishonest with me. And there have been some people who've been doing great things at their job, and the employer finds out about their history and they fire them.
I just had 3 different people go to bat for me for my position now, so trust me, I understand that.
Yes.
portion of it.
So what I can tell you, and I could be wrong on this, maybe there's an apartment complex or someplace that would accept you. But probably the only place you're gonna get is either you're gonna have to look into getting your own home, or either you're gonna have to look into renting a home. Which to me, renting a home, renting an apartment, that's just money going down the drain a little bit. Although I used to live in an apartment, so sometimes that's where you start, right?
That's where the portion of me and my parents, my mother is forcing the issue for building my credit at this moment.
Yes. So maybe if there are no issues with staying with your parents, maybe you just need to stay there and decompress and let your children have a regular place to stay where they're not worried about moving in 3 months, because that's a lot of upheaval for a child. If you think about it, you're an adult. Think about the upheaval. Heck, I'm moving offices down the hallway and I don't want to do it, but it is a lot. And so when you move children that much and they go to a different home, they have to get used to the rhythms of that household. They have to get used to the rules, because that's technically not their house. I know grandparents love their grandchildren, but still they have to get used to all of that. They have to get comfortable with just going to the refrigerator and opening it without asking, right? So I'm gonna have you staying there. Don't cause any problems while you're there. And if your grandmother has certain rules for the grandchildren, follow them. If you think your mother loves you and loves your grandchildren, anything that your grandmother has for rules for your grandchildren, you know they're doing it from their heart. They wouldn't be doing
I have
anything.
no say so with my children when it comes to my dad.
Okay, see,
I
there you
have
go.
no say so.
Well-
What he says, he helps me raise them the basically the way he raised us, and
Mhm.
it's a very sturdy situation with my children.
All right.
So yes, being back at my parents' house has been, because I was there first, and then I left to try to move into my own place with the help of my sister, and that only lasted 3 months. So that's how I moved back. So anytime I kind of feel uncomfortable, my parents are always there.
All right, so this is what we're gonna do. I know you say you're gonna be with your parents for 3 months, but before you move again from your parents' house, you're gonna have to get permission from the court.
Yes.
And when I say permission, because I want you to be prepared, we're gonna have another compliance hearing before you move, and I'm gonna want to plan, and I'm gonna want to know that you've informed wherever you're staying what your history is, because I don't want you or the children to continue to have upheaval.
Yes, ma'am.
All right?
That's
So I'll allow the transfer to Guadalupe County. Can you all still do your thing or no?
So, Your Honor, I think the main issue with the Guadalupe County, we can't do the field visits there. She will still report to Bear County because it's a reciprocal.
Mhm.
So the reporting will remain. It's just the field visits they will not do because it is Guadalupe County. So can we cease the field visits until she returns back to Bear County
How often is she reporting?
monthly?
All right, so we'll cease the field visits, but I'm gonna want you to report twice. And one of those reporting must be by Zoom, and it must be from where she's living.
Okay.
All right, is there anything else?
I guess I'll tell the truth on this one. Me and her recently just took a drug test, and it did come out with THC, and she would recommend until I guess weekly or twice a month drug test the levels. I did mention to her that the last time I did smoke was before Thanksgiving, right around the time I found out I was pregnant. And that might be the reason why it's still stuck inside my system, but I don't do any type of marijuana, especially since I found out about the name.
Okay, well, here's the thing. You're in deferred adjudication for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Is smoking marijuana worth 20 years in prison? I mean, I could send you to prison for 20 years, and you know what would end up happening? What would end up happening is you would cry. And I would say, well, you're on probation, and these are consequences because there are rules. And I'd send you to prison potentially for 20 years. And I've done CPS cases. You know what ended up happening? You'd have the baby at the prison. But before you have the baby at the prison, your attorney would probably file motions. Please let her out. She's pregnant. She wants to reconsider. And I'd be like, probably not. So you'd have the baby at the prison. When you had the baby, either they would let your parents come to the prison to pick up the baby and take the baby. But even when they did that, Child Protective Services will be called. And your other children that you have, because this is an aggravated assault, you'd have to serve at least 10 years flat before you're released. So you'd have a child who probably would have gone to prom, graduated, moved out, whatever, and you wouldn't be a part. So, well, I mean, you're acting like it's worth it because you did it. And I think you told me because she was going to end up telling me that you tested positive.
Well, it really just came out really because it was basically the truth on it. And it was around the time of the frustration of the moving, and I didn't feel like everything was going right. I feel like everything was falling down the drain. And on occasionally I don't smoke. So yes, it was around that weak moment of time, and I don't feel like I need to have those weak moment of times.
And so you would have had to you would have to have obtained that marijuana from somebody, unless you're growing it at the apartment on the patio. And so that meant that your children were smelling marijuana, which is not good. Yeah, I mean, they do. Marijuana gets in your clothing. I don't smoke, I don't drink. And I don't drink because I think alcohol tastes nasty, but that's just my choice. But I don't smoke cigarettes. I don't do any of that. But you know what? I can tell you every person in the courthouse who smokes because I smell it. I can tell you everybody in the courthouse who drinks because I can smell it. So I guarantee you, your children, maybe they knew it was marijuana, maybe they didn't, but I guarantee you they could smell it. And children are building up their immune system, and the last thing they need is someone smoking cigarettes, drinking alcohol, doing marijuana around them. All right, so what I want to do is she's going to be tested for levels. And if those levels don't go down, file a motion to revoke.
Often do you want to test it?
And we're going to do the UA hotline. So I want her to do a test every 2 weeks.
And then when she comes out negative, do you want it to continue?
Yeah, we're going to do the UA hotline through the new year and see how that is. And I want you to remember that your parents are grandparents. They're not supposed to be raising your children. You understand? All right, anything else? All right, we will see you. Don't come back here for nonsense. Brenda, see, is it just me? Oh, Brenda's not here. Is it hot in here? Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. And Bashan, she is not to move again unless she gets permission from the court. Hello. Yes.
Can you pass that to the judge? There's just a motion to set a bond on an MTR. We've conferred.
All right, just 1 second. Do you have the file? Can you get the file? All right, thank you. All right, so let's just get the file.
Oh.
Mario Guerra,
Yes, ma'am.
can you come forward? And your attorney is Melissa Christian.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Do you know if Miss Christian is going to be here today?
I do not know. I got a text last night that I had to show up. And-
Yeah, you do. So here's the thing.
Yes, ma'am.
You are making unauthorized stops. You're making unauthorized stops to South Park Mall. I can understand HEB. I can understand the pharmacy. I can even understand Bush's Chicken. I don't understand South Park Mall. What's there?
After I left here, we had to drop off my sister at work. I was here with my mom. And so we had to drop her off at work and they didn't open their doors until 10. And my mom still doesn't feel comfortable with her working at South Park Mall. So we had to wait there till 10.
Can I see the file on Mario Guerra?
Immediately after that, we headed over to the Bonds place, the Bell Bonds, because their phone wasn't working. After which I came home.
All right, family violence,
I think that,
you said it. All right,
I think. For what I'm gonna be asking, I think Ms. Christian.
okay. All right, just have a seat. We're gonna see where Miss Christian is.
This one.
All right, Daniel Brown.
I left it on your desk.
Okay.
Can you tell me what court
It's
this
a motion
next
to
case
bond,
was?
but we've
Or should I ask?
conferred. We're unable to-
Sorry.
No, no problem. I understand.
We like to know if the court will set an amount. for us.
Well, it's deferred adjudication, so I have to set an amount. All right, let's go off the record for a moment. Oh, thank you. You're so awesome. Oh, you know what that reminds me of? That reminds me of elementary school. Do you remember the song about Billy Boy? No. Hey, you don't remember that song about him? Well, he's trying to introduce his mom, and actually it sounds like a crime was being committed because he's introducing his mother to this girl. And so the mom keeps asking him, can she bake a cherry pie? And his response is like, yeah, but she's a young thing and she cannot leave her mother. We were singing that in elementary school. And now I think about it, I'm like, how young was she that she can't leave her mom? So, but thank you so much. All right, thank you. Brenda, the things you remember from your childhood. Who's here on Kavan, Evan, Rangel? Thank you. And if I could have a prosecutor?
Yes, Judge.
Good morning.
All right, court is calling 2022 CR 7778, State of Texas versus Kavan, Evan, Rangel. Can I have part?
I'm sorry, this is Robert Porter. It's Kevin, but his middle name is actually Evander. It's not Evan.
Ah, okay, Evander. You should have corrected me.
Sorry. No, we didn't want to cut you off.
No. I'm real big on names. I think if somebody is mispronouncing your name or not saying the correct name, you need to let them know. All right, could I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Minister of State, thanks.
Defense?
Robert Porter for Mr. Rangel.
And are you Mr. Rangel?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, defense, I'm showing you the discovery acknowledgement. Have you received all the discovery in this case and did you review it with your client?
I have, Your Honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Rangel, I'm showing you what's entitled True Bill of Indictment. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
We do, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Rangel, I'm going to show you what's entitled Court Admonishments and Defendants Waivers and Affidavit of Admonitions. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Did you understand you're charged with the offense of aggravated robbery? That is a first-degree felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from 5 to 99 years or life in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a plea bargaining agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your agreement. If for any reason the court does not follow your agreement and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call and the right to remain silent? Did you understand by entering this plea bargaining agreement, you were giving up those rights? And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea bargain agreement in this case?
No.
All right, off the record for a moment. I need all the other files on this case.
Yes, I got it.
Back on the record, counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Rangel, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No,
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea?
no.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented? Are you a U.S. citizen? Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Showing you the plea bargain page. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
According to the plea, punishment is to be assessed at 10 years in the prison. There's $1,000 fine. It hasn't been checked off, but if the court finds that there's a deadly weapon involved, then the court will order that there be an affirmative finding of deadly weapon. The state will take in consideration 2022 CR 7089, 2022 CR 7090, 2022 CR 7088, 2022 CR 7087. Did you understand that to be the plea? Defense?
Yes.
State?
Yes, sir.
Showing you the paragraph entitled waiver of appeal paragraph. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in both places? Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand? Counsel, are there any such motions?
No, yeah.
Next, I'm showing you outside the plea bargaining agreement. State is asking that you have no contact with Thomas Morales. Did you understand those were recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations? Then to the offenses charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest? State, any evidence?
Yes, Judge, State Officer Justin Martin, case exhibit 1 and its attachments and evidence.
No objection.
Mr. Rangel, I'm showing you what's entitled waiver and consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in both places? Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call in the right to remain silent? Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand? Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. All right, after reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and the court will find you guilty. Are we proceeding with sentencing?
Please, Your Honor.
All right, and state, has the complainant been informed? Okay, thank you.
It's on my notes, Joe, Judge, I don't see that discussion was had with the.
All right, but was there an attempt to reach out to the complainant?
Yes.
Okay,
I show that it's based on our notes.
all right. And I'm assuming, and again, there I am again assuming that there was no response back from the complainant.
I don't show anything in our system about a response.
All right, anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Judge, Ron has taken full responsibility to the court. If there's this plea bargain, especially request the court call.
All right, the court will sentence you to 10 years in the prison. There's a $1,000 fine. Affirmative finding of a deadly weapon. Credit for any time served. Taking consideration 2022 CR 7089, 7090, 7088, and 7087. Is there anything else from either side with regards to sentencing?
It's again affirmative finding of the deadly weapon.
Yes.
Not from protection.
All right, showing you what's entitled trial court certification of defendant's rights to appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand? Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand? All right, good luck to you. We can go off the record. How old are you?
20.
All right. Do you want to end up being in prison for the rest of your life? Do you want to end up dying because you're living life recklessly and endangering others?
No.
Then you better change your ways. Do you have any children? All right, that's a good thing because you're not ready for children. And what's up with this facial tattoo? What is that about? Well, I mean, when did you get it?
A year ago.
Why? Does it have any meaning?
Yes, me and family forever.
And you can't remember that?
Yeah.
All right. So how far did you go in school?
I got my GD.
And what are you planning on doing with the rest of your life?
I'm not sure yet, but for the time upcoming, I plan to get more education as much as I can.
All right. You better change your life. Otherwise, life may not be long for you. You understand?
No.
All right. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Always a pleasure seeing you, Mr. Porter.
Take care.
All right. All right, the court is calling 2022 CR 10343, State of Texas versus Elisa Herrera. We're gonna have parties approach and announce for the record for the state,
State of Texas.
for the defense.
Scott McCook for Miss Herrera.
And are you Ms. Herrera?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, counsel, I'm showing you the discovery acknowledgement. Have you received all the discovery in this case and did you review it with your client?
Yes, I have.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Ms. Herrera, I'm showing you what's entitled application for community supervision. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm showing you what's entitled true bill of indictment. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
Yes, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
We already on it.
Ms. Herrera, I'm showing you what's entitled court admonishments and defendants waivers and affidavit of admonitions. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Ma'am.
Did you understand you're charged with the offense of possession of a controlled substance penalty group 1, 4 grams to 200 grams? That's a second-degree felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 20 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea bargain agreement. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial? a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call in the right to remain silent.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
She has,
Do you believe she has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against her?
she does.
Do you believe she's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes, she is.
Ms. Herrera, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived her right to jury trial. Showing you the plea bargain page, did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
According to the plea bargain agreement, punishment is to be assessed at 8 years in the prison. There's $1,000 fine. There's no application for deferred adjudication. The state recommends community supervision. They will take in consideration night mag number 674-156, 674-155, 688-948. There's $57 restitution to the Bexar County Crime Lab for testing. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense,
Yes, Your Honor.
state?
Yes, Your Honor.
Showing you the paragraph entitled waiver of appeal paragraph. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in both places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, are there any such motions?
No, Your Honor.
Next, I'm showing you outside the plea bargain agreement. State is requesting that your community supervision be for a term of 8 years. There be a TAP evaluation and 200 hours of community service restitution. Did you understand those are recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
Yes, ma'am.
Then to the offenses charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No.
State, any evidence?
State offer state exhibit 1 in all attachments.
No objection.
Ms. Herrera, I'm showing you what's entitled waiving consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call and the right to remain silent?
Yes.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports? But most importantly, there will be no live testimony. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. All right, after reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty and the court will find you guilty. Are we proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, please, Your Honor.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Herrera, I have a few questions for you. So do you have any children?
No, ma'am.
All right, how far did you go in school?
I just graduated, got my diploma. I am gonna go back to school for cosmetology and business.
So how old are you?
I'm 28.
All right, when you say you just got your diploma, is that your high school diploma?
No, I just barely didn't get it. That's the only thing I went up to. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. If you're released, where are you going to be living?
5235.
No, I mean,
Oh, with my mom. I'm sorry.
that's okay. I don't like people to give out their addresses.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. So you say you're living with your mom. Who else lives with your mom?
Just my brother, my baby brother, and my sister.
All right, and how old are your baby brother and
My
sister?
baby brother is gonna be 10 years old in 3 days, and my sister, she's 17.
So what are you planning on doing for employment?
For employment, I waitress. Yes, I'm a server, so I'm gonna go get my job. I'm gonna go see if they get me back. I got my seafood and grits.
All right, when's the last time you were a waitress?
I was a waitress a year ago.
At what place?
The Camarón Pelado Seafood and Grill on San Zamora.
All right, Brendan, I think you probably, okay, slow that down.
Camaron, Camaron, Pelado, Pelado.
And San Zamora and Commerce.
All right. Well, Brenda, Scott is making your day easy. He
He
spelled
is.
that out.
It means peeled shrimp.
Yeah,
Well, okay,
it's
so,
a seafood restaurant.
Is the seafood any good?
Yes, ma'am. It's the seafood and Mexican restaurant. It's actually the first one in San Antonio to know to be good.
All right, so here's the thing. As everybody knows, I'm from the South. And I ended up going to a restaurant. I'm not gonna name the restaurant, Brenna. But I ordered gumbo and people said, why are you at a Mexican restaurant ordering gumbo? So if I were to order gumbo at this place, is it good?
Yes, ma'am. You'll like everything they have on seafood. Guaranteed.
All right, I'm gonna add that to my list.
Okay, yes, ma'am. I'll see you there.
Okay. And remember that you like me very much when you see me there.
No, yes, I will. Don't worry, I got you. I got you, don't worry.
People always say, Brenda, they're like, what places you going out to eat? Do you run into people who are on probation? I'm like, do. They're like, that's very brave of you. So I'm always like, hopefully they like me and they're just gonna give me a great meal. And they're like, there's nothing wrong with the meal. It's great.
No, I got you. Don't worry.
All right. So does your mom want you living with her?
Yes.
All right.
Well,
So,
it's actually my house. So, well, not my house, but my fiance's house. So,
all right. So does the fiance live there as well?
no, he doesn't live there.
So are you guys broken up?
Yes, ma'am. He just left me the house for my family.
All right. That's very nice of him.
Yes.
All right, so here's the thing. I'm gonna follow your agreement, but you're gonna be on probation, so I can't have you being, influencing your siblings negatively.
Correct.
And you say it's your house, but your mom is probably gonna be running the household,
Oh, yeah, she does all the time.
so you need to make sure you follow her rules.
Yes, ma'am. I'm just excited.
Okay, well, I will tell you, they're probably not gonna release you till midnight or 1 a.m.
That's perfectly fine with me.
Okay. And that's nothing to do with us because we process immediately. That's something to do on their end.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
defense, you can speak to them and see. All right, I'm gonna send you to 8 years in the prison, suspended and probated for 8 years. There's $1,000 fine. That'll be probated. Take in consideration night mag number 674-156, 674-155, 688-949. There's $57 restitution to the lab. And so when's the last time you used drugs before coming into custody?
3 days before,
All right, and what were you using?
I was using crack cocaine.
All right. We're gonna do a TAP evaluation.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, here's the thing. I'm gonna allow that TAP evaluation to be out of custody. If you miss that appointment, you know what's gonna end up happening?
Coming right back in.
Yeah, a motion to revoke is gonna be filed. And either you're gonna get your TAP evaluation in jail, or either you're gonna potentially be sent to prison.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
So are you gonna make that TAP evaluation appointment?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
All right, so Bashan, on the TAP evaluation, if it comes back with inpatient treatment, we'll start with intensive outpatient treatment. If it comes back with outpatient treatment, I still want to start with intensive outpatient treatment. All right, I'm going to do sober meetings. I want 90 meetings in 90 days. Here's the thing about sober meetings. They're all throughout the city. You can do them at whatever time.
Okay.
My goal is for you to be clean and sober.
Yes, ma'am.
So if you need to do 5 meetings a week, 10 meetings a week, that's not going to impact you completing your probation, because you know yourself better than I do, better than your attorney does, and you'll know what you need to do in order to remain sober.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. We're going to do regular reporting by Zoom or in person.
Okay,
I'm going to want field visits 2 times per month, and probation with regards to the field visits. If you want to count her reporting as a field visit, you can. We'll do the UA hotline, and then we can slowly taper that off. And I'm going to want that UA hotline. You're going to have to call in every day,
yes, ma'am.
and they'll let you know when to come in and test.
Okay, that's fine.
So I'm going to want her tested weekly for at least 4 months. And then probation, you can start tapering that off if she's doing well.
Thank you.
You're welcome. 200 hours of community service restitution, 40 of those hours we waive. If you provide proof of the COVID vaccination with the booster, court is not requiring you to get the COVID vaccination, but if you do, 40 of the hours will be waived.
Okay,
I'm gonna want proof of employment within 30 days.
okay,
There should be no employment as a home healthcare provider with minors. And there should be no unsupervised contact with minors. That can be revisited once you're on the path to sobriety.
okay.
So what that means is your mom can't leave the
Yes.
10-year-old with
No,
you.
that's fine.
Okay.
I understand.
Vashon, is there anything else you need?
No, Your Honor.
All right, is there anything else you need from the court in order to be successful?
You already did a very good job on that.
All right.
Thank you very much.
All right, you're welcome. I'm showing you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. Okay, if you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to your attorney, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, off the record for a moment. So in this court, in order to be successful on probation, communication is key.
Oh, yes,
If there's something going on, you need to let probation know.
yes, ma'am.
All right, and probation, she's also gonna be residing with her mom, so if you can make sure you get that address. Do not change your residence without getting permission from the court first,
Yes,
okay?
ma'am.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. You
Thank
have a
you.
great day.
All right, you too. Did I see that file back on Herrera? And Mr. McCrom, I've signed the dismissal, so the state may have a copy for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Who's here on Jalen Collins?
I am your.
All right, Mr. Collins, come on up. All right, what is happening with Collins?
Well, Your Honor, we've conferred and he has a motion to revoke, he has a new indicted case, he has some cases out of county court 4, and he has an at-large case. I've conferred with my client, I've discussed with the prosecutor and with my client about potential resolution for this. He wants to talk to you, and I do not recommend that, but that's my client's wishes at this point, and so we're here. He wants to talk to you.
So, Mr. Collins, before you speak with me, all right. So you have an attorney here.
Yes, ma'am.
She went to law school.
You did.
She has a license. And I can tell you that none of us who went to law school spent over $100,000 for law school and did not know what we were doing. So it's sort of like if you, I don't know why people sometimes think attorneys' jobs are not real for some reason. And I can say that because I've been a defense attorney and a prosecutor.
No.
And it is similar to if you go to see a doctor and you have a heart problem and you want heart surgery, you don't tell that doctor, hey, wait a minute, let me just tell you how I think this operation should go. You just let them do it. Once they tell you, this is why you need heart surgery, this is how we're going to do it. You don't tell that person, well, I really think you should use this type of scalpel, and I really think you should use this laser, and I really think this is the direction you should go. So do you understand what I'm saying? If your attorney does not want you or recommend you speaking to me, there's probably a good reason for that. And I'm sure she may have told you that. Knowing that, if you still wish to speak to me, you may speak to me.
Man, I would.
Yes.
I would like to speak to you because I know that my attorney has gone to law school just like you have.
No. No, just go. Come on.
I'm sorry. It's you're very, I'm very nervous.
Do not be
But
nervous.
I'd rather fight for my life because even though my attorney went to law school, she has not had my discovery today. I've asked to see it and.
All right, let me stop you right
So
there.
I'm just,
Just 1 second. So with regards to discovery, your attorney has just told me that there are some new cases, right?
yeah, but I have put an indictment.
No. I know you may have the indictment, but this is what people don't understand. And let me explain the process to you a little bit. And this is me coming from prosecutor background and defense attorney background. Usually when cases are indicted, your attorney finds out the cases have been indicted. Maybe if the prosecutor has time, they will call them and they will say, hey, we're indicting Mr. Collins' case today. Normally that doesn't happen. What ends up happening is your cases get indicted. And then your defense attorney is aware it's been indicted because they get a message on the system that it's been indicted and they've been appointed. And then they have to make arrangements with the prosecutor to actually see the file. And then once they make arrangements with the prosecutor to see the file, then they can go see you. They don't get, the state doesn't say, oh, here's the entire file, take our entire file over to the jail or take our entire file to the client. What ends up happening is they come to court and you'll be able to see the file if the state actually has their file. So that's how discovery works. I know a lot of people will see things on television.
No, I'm sorry. I just asked her and she said she didn't bring it today. So I was assuming that she had it and she didn't bring it. That's what she told me.
No. This is what ends up happening. When she says not bringing your discovery, and correct me if I'm wrong, Ms. Thorne, what happens is they may have something uploaded on their system, but the state will normally have a file down here. And if the state does not have their file down here, she can't show you discovery. And if you ever have a chance to look at what they receive on the system, it is not the sheets of paper. They have to go in, download it and get it. And then once they download it, maybe they can show it to you on their computer or something like that. But I will tell you, 9 times out of 10, defense attorneys don't walk around with their computers. So what's your next issue?
Honestly, ma'am, I've been up for 3 years. The day that you agreed on my deal that I testified on, I did not know when you sentenced me to probation, you asked me if I had a child at the time. And I said, no. Well, my child was conceived the night before. I have a 2.5-year-old daughter. And I got comfortable. I was walking straight and narrow. I work at Arbor Experts. I had a full-time job. They contracted with CPS Energy. I'm a tree climber, master trade. And I got comfortable. So
All right, so let me stop you right
I
there.
want to plea on what's
Wait.
true.
Let me just do this. Let me stop you right there. See, this is probably why your attorney doesn't want you speaking. And let me just explain something to
I
you.
would like to go, ma'am. I would honestly at this point.
No.
I would
Time
like
out.
to pro se.
Stop. This is why your attorney probably doesn't want you speaking, because you're about to admit things. It sounds to me, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm making assumptions, but you're about to admit to things in the MTR and you're about to say that this is true, this is true, this is true. And who knows, maybe the state won't be able to prove those allegations. And your attorney does not want you saying that, because it sounds like to me, you're trying to throw yourself on the mercy of the court, right? Because you're saying, I want to admit to what I did, and what I didn't do, I'm not going to admit to it because I didn't do it. Well, I would always tell my clients when they wanted to throw themselves on the mercy of the court, you got to put something in my hands. It just can't be, please don't sentence me. And so maybe your attorney needs time for that. But what I can tell you is you're not getting out of custody today.
Yeah.
Okay. So where are we on these new cases?
So one of the cases Ms. Thorne does not have discovery on because it is at large, but I can provide the discovery to her today. It's not alleged in the MTR, but it's going. It has been considered in when making an offer. I'll just say that for the board. Other than that, I've tendered an offer that resolves all of his MTRs or his pending case. The last I spoke with, he doesn't seem inclined to take that, so my assumption is probably needs to be set for a contested.
All right. So, Mr. Collins? So I don't want to know what the offer is, but the state has just informed me that they've tendered an offer to your counsel. And I'm sure your counsel has tendered that offer to you, and maybe you don't like that offer. But I don't want to know what the offer is. I'm not allowed to. And maybe you don't like that offer. That's fine. But if you want a contested hearing, we'll go forth with a contested hearing. Or if you want to plead true, you can plead true. And I will make a decision on what to do about this motion to revoke, but that may change the state's offer if you all don't have an agreement. And usually on motions to revoke, I will follow the agreement that the state and the defense have worked out unless there's a good reason for me not to. Or if I think it should be something else. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so now you know that your attorney doesn't have all discovery because there's a case that's at large, and I'm sure she'll explain to you what at large means. She doesn't have access to that yet. The state has said that they will be willing to give her the access to that and the information about that. So that's where we are in your case.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you have any questions?
No, ma'am. I was I was still I would still like to proceed. I just don't I don't feel comfortable. I don't feel comfortable the way I saw her talking about me too. Yeah, I'd rather leave my life at this time in my own hands. If I can go pro se, if I can just leave it up to you, Miss Boyd.
Well, I mean, you can still plead true to whatever you want to plead true to and leave it up to me, and your attorney will argue whatever she wants to argue. The state will argue what they want to argue. And if you want to testify before me, you can.
I would rather I'd rather do that, man. I would rather.
Okay. All right. You want to discuss things with your client?
Your Honor, based on things that you've said and I said earlier, I would like to ask for an oral motion to withdraw because I do not feel like we're able to communicate, and I don't think I can adequately represent him. He wishes to proceed pro se, and I need to withdraw, Your Honor. I think there's a conflict.
All right, just have a seat and I'll take this up in a moment.
May I also, I have another report, but I can wait on this.
Okay, just give me a moment.
Thank you.
Will you mute us, please? All right, court is calling 2018 CR 5502, State of Texas versus Jalen Collins. Mr. Collins, come up. All right, can I have parties announced for the record for the state
Michael Villarreal, state.
defense?
Sharon Thorne for the defendant, Your Honor.
And are you Mr. Collins?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Collins, you're requesting that Ms. Thorne withdraw from your case?
Yes, and I would like to proceed first.
Listen to my question,
Yes, ma'am. Sorry. Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Thorne.
Yes, Your Honor, I wish to withdraw, Your Honor, based on his comments to the court, his comments to me. I believe it's in the best interest for him to have other counsel. And I do not believe that I can actually represent him. I believe that there's a conflict and it's based on what he said on the record here in front of you.
All right, and state, do you have any objection to the defense's oral motion to withdraw?
No.
All right, that will be granted. Thank you, Ms. Thorne.
Thank you. Your Honor.
Have a great rest of your week.
You too. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. We're off the record. You can have a seat. Ms. Thorne,
Yes, Your Honor.
do you have any documents or anything from his case for the attorney who will be appointed?
No, Your Honor, I do not, other than the motions to revoke, I can,
No, that's fine. They'll get a copy to them then.
right. No, Your Honor, I do not.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
First, may I approach?
Yes.
This is on today's docket. Pedro Martinez. I conferred with Mr. Herrera.
All right, could I see the file on Pedro Martinez? Thank you. Yeah, that's fine. All right, and could you have Caroline call Melissa Christian and see if she's available to come in or if she can zoom in? And let Caroline know, I'll send her the Zoom link. Kelly Cole?
Yes, good.
Yes, I've already signed this. Can you check in the back?
What is that?
The motion to exceed the
Oh, okay, I
hours?
didn't know if you had.
All right, if you can check with them,
Sure.
but I think I've previously signed. it.
Okay, cool. No problem, Joyce. Thank you.
You're welcome. Sure. You're welcome. Who's here on Stevie Stokes?
That's me, Judge.
Have you conferred with the state?
I find that order good.
Oh, okay. And then the investigator, can you check with the back? Because I believe I've already signed that.
Okay, I'll check that one too, Judge. I hadn't verified first. I was just down here, so I thought I'd check.
All right, just check with them, because I try not to sign
Of course.
2 and 3 orders of
No
the
problem.
same.
I'll check. What time is the shindig today? I gotta go get my thing.
Oh, it's 12:30.
Yeah, 12:30.
How many gallons of swamp water? 2?
I don't know. Talk to Michael. He's good with that.
2 would be plenty, I think.
All right, so if for any reason the investigator hasn't been signed, just let me know.
Okay. And I'm also here in a VR, Judge.
Okay. Just one second. All right, who's here on Gerald Wickerson? Yes.
I received notice but yesterday evening, I have called him and left a message for him and I emailed him. But we haven't had a full even 24 hours of this. Just have a little bit more time. See if I can get him in.
Well, he's in custody
Oh,
at the Bear County Jail.
I did not know that.
Yes. So on these violation reports, I always will set them, and sometimes they have to be set quickly based upon the person may have been alleged to pick up a new offense.
And I think that is the.
All right, so on this one, I'm going to remand him without bond. If you want it set on the docket, and the new year, we'll set it on the docket. You're welcome. Who's here on Aaron Salazar?
That was actually.
Kelly.
Oh, okay, he'll be back.
He said it's fine.
All right, deputy is David White, Juan Carranza. Here?
No, Your Honor, there's nobody here.
No, they're on, there, it shows they're in custody. It's on page 2.
Juan Diego Carranza?
David White, Juan Carranza.
Yes.
Can you have them brought out? Thank you. All right, and Kelly, on Mr. Aaron Salazar.
Yes, sir.
So he has an active warrant for this criminal trespass.
Yes.
Do you know where he is?
I spoke with him yesterday evening and advised him to come in and speak to the court. He did know that he had a criminal trespass warrant. And I said we can take care of that, but you need to come in and he didn't.
All right, so what I'll do is I'll issue a judge's warrant. And then if he appears, we can take care of it at that time.
Okay, Judge.
All right,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, I just thought you're, I thought you're.
What's up?
Two words that I would never thought I'd say the same.
All right, thank you.
Oh, I was like, oh my God. Ed Reynolds had to be-
That's gonna happen too.
Let's talk to this man over here. Oh, this is like a dream come true. For him to get to work with Mike. It's a dream for me too. It's just a habit.
All right.
We need to check if they dismissed it.
Yeah, what's your name?
Pedro and Martinez.
She signed it?
Oh, yes, that one, if it's Martinez, I've already signed it.
Okay, we don't need your vote.
No, you're good.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. Have a great one.
You too.
I'm done with that, Martinez.
Counsel, did you need to give him, is he in the box?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Have a good one. Merry Christmas. All right.
You got it. On third. That's in the middle of it. Technically, right on the lower end, it's true. And it's a lot, but it's here. You like that away from me, it's like, technically, that is in the middle of this one. It's like it's two, it's like 20, 22, rather than 2, 11. So we're on the lower end. Crazy. What's like the middle of this range? It's technically be above. Because two higher than 1, right? You get the average. Technically, we're on the lower. But I'm trying to. I didn't know the face had those. I didn't know that.
Good morning.
Because
I approached the judge about the motions.
I've never seen that box on a unoffended. Had it.
No. Or there's those ones that I found.
These are the ones they call me, the.
Yes.
Caroline,
No. No, I did not talk to Caroline.
what do you think?
Well, it's the same motions. Yeah. Yeah, same ones.
Let's give 5 minutes. Can you mute us? Just 5 minutes.
I guess they knew how.
Hello.
Hi, Judge.
Hi.
Some motions from the trial.
Okay.
First of all, my investigator went a little over. So we're asking for an extra $230. Next one is the motion to pay the investigator.
There you go.
And the one after that is Dr. Kanan left the ME's office.
Mhm.
And so he's working over at New Essex County, and so he needed to be appointed as an expert. They won't show up unless they're paid. And the next one is motion to pay Dr. Kanan. Then I went over the 100 hours. I assume it'll go to the committee. Motion to withdraw.
Is a coordinator?
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. All right, so Mr. Cox,
Yes, ma'am.
and I'm sorry, mute us. Come forward. Thank you. All right, and where's Mr. Garcia?
Okay, yeah.
All right, the court is calling 2022 CR 5371, State of Texas versus Christopher Garcia. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state,
Daniel, that's far from the state of Texas.
for the defense?
I further repeat for the defendant, Christopher Garcia, Your Honor.
And are you Mr. Garcia? Mr. Garcia, I'm showing you what's entitled motion to revoke community supervision. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? Are you the same Christopher Garcia who's placed on community supervision in 2022 CR 5371 for the offense of possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 1 less than 1 gram on July 8, 2022 for a term of 2 years? Is that you? All right, state.
Violated condition number 1, on or about the 10th day of August 2022 in Bexar County, Texas. The defendant Christopher Garcia committed the offense of criminal trespass in violation of condition number 1.
How do you plead to that? True or not true? All right, did you understand by pleading true to violation of condition number 1, the court could find it true, grant the motion, sentence you up to 2 years in the state jail facility? Did you understand?
Yes.
Knowing that, do you still wish to plead true to violation of condition number 1?
Yes.
Court would find violation of condition number 1 true. Is there an agreement?
There is, Your Honor, just an alternate amendment for him to attend Saturday, all by here.
All right, are you asking the court to follow that? And what is happening with the new number 1?
That was a judgment satisfied out of county.
Okay. Is there anything you wish to say, counsel?
Well, you hope the court follow the agreement that we have with the state, Your Honor.
All right, the court will follow your agreement, deny the motion, alternate amend conditions to include SATA followed by aftercare. And once he's released, I'm going to want the UA hotline. So can you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? You can lower your hand. Did you have employment?
Not at the moment, no.
So how are you supporting yourself?
Well, I was supposed to go to work, but after this, that happened.
No, I mean, going to work where?
At Altman's Nursery.
I'm sorry, where?
Altman's Nursery.
Okay. And were you living with someone? Did you have a place?
My mother's house.
So what is this trespassing about? Where was he alleged to have?
It was a neighbor's home, Your Honor.
Here's the thing, don't go to anybody's home if they don't want you there, if you're not invited, you understand?
Oh, I understand.
All right, so don't do that anymore. All right, I'm gonna want proof of employment within 30 days of release. There should be no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. I'm gonna want field visits upon release 1 time per month, and probation. That field visit can be counted as a reporting if that's what you all choose to do. And I don't see any community service hours ordered, so I'm ordering 200 hours of community service restitution. 40 of those hours be waived if you provide proof of the COVID vaccination. The court is not requiring you to get the COVID vaccination, but if you do, 40 of those hours will be waived. Is there anything else you need to be successful in probation? I'm sorry?
No.
All right, probation, is there anything else he needs?
No, Your Honor.
All right, good luck to you. Thank you,
Thank you,
counsel.
Your Honor.
All right, who is here on Valerie Martinez? All right, and probation, this is an application.
Yes, Your Honor.
Court is calling 2022 CR 5304, State of Texas versus Valerie Martinez. Can I have parties approach and announce for the record for the state?
Daniel Escobar for the state of Texas.
Defense.
Jacqueline Lamerson for Ms. Martinez.
And are you Valerie Martinez? All right, I'm gonna need you to speak up, okay? Counsel, I'm showing you the discovery acknowledgement. Have you received all the discovery in this case, or did you review it with your client?
I have. I
Cool.
did and I have.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Ms. Martinez, I'm showing you what's entitled application for community supervision. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it? Next, I'm showing you what's entitled true bill of indictment. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
We waive.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
Your Honor, we're proceeding on count 1 and waiving count 2.
Any objection?
None.
Ms. Martinez, I'm showing you what's entitled court admonishments and defendants waivers and affidavit of admonitions. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you're charged with the offense of possession of a controlled substance penalty group 1, 1 gram to 4 grams? That's a 3rd-degree felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 10 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea bargain agreement. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand? Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call and the right to remain silent? Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up those rights?
Yes.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case? Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
Yes, Judge.
Do you believe she has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against her?
She does.
Do you believe she's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
She is and she was.
Ms. Martinez, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No.
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea? Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived her right to jury trial. Showing you the plea bargain page. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? According to the plea bargain agreement, punishment is to be assessed at 5 years in the prison. There's a $1,000 fine. State recommends community supervision. There's restitution of $114 to the Bexar County lab for testing. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense?
Yes, Judge. The only addition I'd make is that the fine is to be probated.
All right, that's correct. State?
Yes, that is a deal, Your Honor.
Showing you what's entitled waiver of appeal paragraph. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in both places? Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes.
Counsel, are there any such motions?
None, Judge.
Next, I'm showing you outside the plea bargain agreement. State is requesting that your community supervision be for a term of 5 years. There be a TAP evaluation. 150 hours community service restitution and a drug court referral. Did you understand? Those were recommendations by the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations. Then to the offenses charged in count one, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
State any evidence?
State offer states to the one in all attachments.
No objections.
Ms. Martinez, I'm showing you what's entitled waiver and consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, the right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call and the right to remain silent?
Yes.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. All right, after reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and the court will find you guilty. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Judge, we waive PSA.
All right, anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
No, just that she's committed to doing well and wants to do well on her probation.
All right, do you have any children?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
How many?
2,
What are their ages?
22 and 17.
And where's your 17-year-old?
She's at home
Who's with
with
your
my
son?
son,
With who?
with my son.
And there's no other adult in the house?
No, with them.
All right, when's the last time you were employed?
About 8 years ago.
Doing
Yes.
what?
Disabled, Judge.
All right, what's your disability?
I have seizures and nerve damage on my right leg.
How often are you using meth and heroin?
That.
Okay, let's not do that. Because you're here for meth and heroin. So how often have you been using meth and heroin before you went to the jail?
Heroin, I don't use. Meth, I would use it like here and there. Something.
This is not a here and there meth use, because I've read the police report.
I really, it's here and there.
So you're getting in a strange car with a guy you don't know, just taking a ride from him, and he just happens to have heroin, and you just happen to have meth. I don't know anybody who's not under the influence, who's accepting strange rides from people unless they're children. How old are you?
I'm 38.
So you're 38, so you're not accepting rides from complete strangers, which is what you told them in the police report, that you didn't even know the driver, you were just accepting a ride. Who does that? So when the police arrested you, how often were you using meth?
Gram a day. Grams a day.
So why were you just not honest with me about that? Why are you pretending like you don't have a drug problem? Everybody on this planet has something that they're working through. We all hoped that whatever is not what we want it to be in our life, that we're working to improve that and improve who we are. I mean, you've already pled to a drug case. I've read the police report. So you're not sober, you're using drugs. And in order to become sober, you're going to have to admit that you first have been using drugs and that you have a problem. Otherwise, I can't help you. Otherwise, maybe you should just go to prison. So you just want to go to prison and do your time?
No, Judge, I think she might have been confused. There was quite a bit of time from the arrest that she was out on bond until today, and her rearrest on the FTA.
I don't think she was confused. I think she is trying to pretend like she doesn't have a drug problem. But it's obvious you do. So we're going to take care of it if you want it taken care of.
She does.
So counsel, has there been anything that she's done to support her habit that would make her a better candidate for Esperanza Court? Because felony drug court, they have a waiting list.
I'm not aware of
You
anything
want to ask her?
recently.
In the past, it's fine. If it's something she's done in the past, that's good.
I know we spoke to pretrial about potential, she talked to pretrial about potential just substance abuse treatment and stuff.
Well, what I'm saying is, there's a certain requirements for Esperanza Court. Do you want to speak to her and see if she meets the requirements of Esperanza Court?
At this time, I'm not aware of any, Judge.
Okay. All right, this is what the court is going to do. The court is going to sentence you to 5 years in the prison, suspended and probated in prison suspended and probated for 5 years. There's $1,000 fine, probated. There's going to be a referral to felony drug court. That'll be the first referral. Then it will be Esperanza Court. That will be the second referral. I'm going to want a TAP evaluation while in custody.
Can that happen before the holidays, Judge? I would like to see her out for the holidays.
It's not going to happen before the holidays. It's whatever they have available. They'll do it as quickly as they can. So that TAP evaluation is to take place while in custody. It's to follow TAP recommendations.
Judge, is there any way we can have an appointment for that? I just would hate, since we are granting her probation and saying that she is a candidate to be out, that she doesn't get to spend the holidays with her family.
My fear for your client, Ms. Martinez, because she's been dishonest to the court, is that she's going to use. And here's the thing, be it heroin, be it meth, that could be the last time she uses.
The drug test every single day I will.
No. So that'll be TAP evaluation while in custody, follow the TAP recommendations. There should be regular reporting by Zoom or in person. I'm going to want field visits upon release. And that'll be 2 times per month. And probation, if you wish to make one of those field visits for reporting, that can count for reporting. We're going to do the UA hotline until further notice upon release. 150 hours of community service restitution, 40 of those hours will be waived if you provide the COVID vaccination with booster. The court is not requiring you to do that, but if you do that, that will be waived. Proof of employment or disability within 40 days of release. There's to be no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. There's to be no contact with Gilbert Gonzalez. Probation, is there anything she needs?
Your Honor, on the UA hotline, how often would you like her tested?
Once a week.
And that'll be all.
Okay, and then, of course, regular reporting.
Yeah.
All right, is there anything else you need from the court in order to be successful, Ms. Martinez? All right, I'm showing you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand? Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand? All right, good luck to you. We can go off the record. I know you want to be out for the holidays. Everybody wants to be out for the holidays. But this is what I can tell you. You're trying to set up your future, right? And your children, 17 and 22, you can always celebrate the holidays after the holidays.
I want to be with my daughter. She's 17.
I mean, I think she knows about Santa Claus and everything. And she knows what Christmas is about.
I'm not that they have.
Well, here's the thing. If you're all that your 17-year-old and 22-year-old have, you shouldn't be using meth. And you shouldn't be using meth because number one, it's not the right thing to do and your children are depending on you. And number two, you have health issues where you shouldn't be using meth. And let me ask you this question. If you hired me as a babysitter for your 17-year-old and 22-year-old, just to be there, because sometimes you want an adult in the house, right? To look after them, to make sure everything goes well, right? And let's say your attorney recommends me to do that, and you check all of my references, they're great. And your children say, yeah, we like Stephanie. Let her come by whenever you can't be here to make sure everything is running well. And you decide to hire me. And as I'm leaving, I tell you, I probably should let you know, I do a gram of meth a day. Would you still want me looking after your 17 and 22-year-old?
No.
That's the position you're in. You are that babysitter who's doing great with the children. And then I'm going to hire you. And then you turn around and tell me I've been using a gram of meth a day. That's not good for your children. You understand?
Yeah.
And honestly, I don't know what would happen if I would release you. You may end up using, and that may end up being a bad batch, and you may end up overdosing. Then what kind of holiday would that be for your children? Okay. All right. Good luck to you.
Judge, I just want to ask one more time if you'll reconsider. I just think that there was confusion with the time of the offense versus today, which has been quite a bit of time. To be successful on this probation and to trust in the process, I think that giving her the timeout and allowing her to decide to do well and show this court that she can do well, and she's willing to do daily UAs. I don't think she was trying to be dishonest with this court at all. I do think she just didn't understand and the difference between then and now. If there's just anything the court can consider, any condition, she'd be happy to meet to be able to spend the holidays with her
All
family.
right. Thank you. And I appreciate the argument that you've given, counsel, but my ruling stands. Good luck with you.
May I be excused?
Yes.
This way.
Yes. Okay.
This way.
All right. Who's here on Danny Acosta? Oh, and Norma. All right. Where is Mr. Costa? Come down.
Oh.
All right, the court is calling 2020 CR 5581 and 2021 CR 4194, State of Texas versus Danny Acosta. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Oscar Flynn for Fisher.
Megan Enriquez for Danny Acosta.
And are you Mr. Acosta?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Acosta, in each of these motions.
Your Honor, we're just asking for a reset at this
Ah.
time. Sorry, we're not.
Thanks for
proceeding
saying,
on
I'm
the
like,
motions.
whoa, we will get you heard quickly in the 187.
Thank you.
Okay,
So your
I'm
Honor,
sure your client was like, wait a minute, what?
Yes. he is on felony probation out of this court on 2 cases. He has 4 new alleged offenses.
Ah.
And we were reviewing some of the discovery with the state on the 4 new cases. It appears that there's some discovery missing on the new cases, which would may affect the offer that they make him.
Okay.
And so we just need a reset. I don't know how much time they may need. They're still in the intake process.
There's a sealed case also.
All right, Ms. Fergus, can I get a 30-day reset on Mr. Acosta? Is that enough time? And I won't set it as a contested since you all are waiting for the discovery, but I will tell you all, this is the 3rd time that this has been reset because on December 1st, it was recalled for the 16th because discovery was pending. So this is the last time I will give you all for discovery. After that, we'll set it for a contested. And if there's new discovery that pops up and defense, you make your motion, the court will make a ruling on that.
Understood, Your Honor. Thank you.
The 27th.
All right, we'll come back on January 27th at 9 a.m.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome.
Can counsel and I approach off the record on this note?
Yes, just give me one moment.
Sure, okay.
Garcia.
All right, and if you can mute us, please. All right, so on Jimmy Joe Vasquez, that case hasn't been indicted or anything, so Ms. Ferguson, we'll need a new appointment for that. And then David,
I'll just let the system appoint it.
yes, David White. Is David
He's
White,
in custody.
come forward. And this is an appointment.
Yes, Judge.
All right, we're gonna go on the record in 2022 CR 11924, State of Texas versus David White. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state
Michael Doria for the
defense?
Eric Reynolds for the defendant.
And are you Mr. White? Mr. White, your attorney is filing a motion to withdraw because he's accepted employment outside of solo practitioner. Do you have any objections to his withdrawal? All right, okay, that will be, state, do you have any objection?
No.
All right, that'll be granted. Was this an appointed case?
It was, Judge.
And is this the only matter that he has pending?
Judge, I believe he has several cases that I filed motions on.
It's just two.
So just two.
Yeah, two of the night are closed, and then he has two indicted.
All right, and the other cause number is 2022 CR 11797.
That's correct.
All right, no objection to your counsel withdrawing on that cause? All right. And are you going to need a court-appointed attorney, Mr. White? All right, so we'll get you a court-appointed attorney before you leave here today, okay? All right, thank you. Ms. Ferguson, can you see if there's someone who can take care of Mr. White today?
I'll try to. You've been-
And I think is that Mr. Stevens back there? Oh, he comes in to join us mysteriously and then he leaves.
He was here.
All right, on Aaron Smith. Where's Mr. Smith?
You mean Salazar?
Sean Smith, Judge.
Or Aaron Salazar?
Sean Aaron Smith.
Judge, he is, last time I checked, he was in federal custody.
Okay. Yes,
We got the
that is
Carranza
true.
Geo facility.
All right, and his next court date is January 31st, Ms. Ferguson. So we'll need a court appointed attorney for him as well.
And just let the system appoint that one.
Yes,
And that one is, who's that one?
that is Sean Aaron Smith. And then we have Isaac Lowe.
Judge, he's a fugitive. Been a fugitive for probably a year now. Close to a year.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, if you'll have the system appoint on that case as well.
Yes, ma'am.
Juan Carranza, can you come down, please? We're going to go on the record in 2022 CR 9121B, State of Texas versus Juan Diego Carranza. Diego Carranza, could I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Michael Villarreal, state.
Eric Reynolds for the defendant, Judge.
And are you Mr. Carranza? All right, Mr. Carranza, your attorney is asking to be allowed to withdraw. He's accepted a position elsewhere. Do you have any objection? All right, the court will grant the motion. And my understanding is that we're still pending discovery DNA. Is that correct, State?
I believe the last time I checked,
That's correct, Judge.
All right, your next court date is February 2nd. That's already in the system. And we'll have another attorney appointed to represent you, okay? All right, thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Does that cover everyone?
Believe so, Judge. That was it. It's been a pleasure.
All right, you too.
Thanks, Jim. Thank you. Very good. Yeah, that's it. Congratulations, man.
Right, where, Mr. Potts?
Stay in touch, brother. It's good to see you, man. Thanks for all your help, man.
Thank
For
you.
last year's, man.
Here.
Norma? I'll see you later.
Yes.
Yeah.
State. On Mario Guerra. Mr. Guerra, can you come forward? All right, Mr. Guerra, are you employed?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
All right, State, his defense counsel is on vacation, so she's unavailable, so we don't have anyone. So, Mr. Guerra, this is what the court is thinking of doing. I'm gonna admonish you. And then we're gonna have a hearing on this with your attorney for the state. All right, so you can still do your drop off, but these other stops, don't make them.
Yes, ma'am.
And what you need to tell your mom is that you're on GPS, that you need to let people know where you are, and that if there's a problem with South Park Mall, you can't go to South Park Mall if it's not on your schedule.
Yes, ma'am.
And so mom has to deal with that. Tell her if she doesn't want to deal with that, what's going to end up happening is we probably may be hearing this from behind the Bexar County Jail.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand?
I definitely.
And do you understand what your stops are?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so what we're gonna do is I am going to, Ms. Ferguson, when do you want to reset this?
I can do the, well,
All right, so we're gonna come back on the 12th to actually have a hearing on this. And so it will behoove you to not come back with any violations on the 12th. You understand?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
All right, Ms. Ferguson will give you a reset form.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And where did Mr. Cox go? I don't know. Is he in his office?
Maybe.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, I think. Put it up and she should have it.
Yes, I have it.
Yeah, okay.
I'll take this up after you do that other thing.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. All right, can you give that to Ms. Ferguson? Okay, Michael Campos. All right, and Vashon, on Michael Campos, if you can just send me the information on that.
Yes.
Because it's supposed to be for a compliance hearing and he's not here.
Yes.
Oh, no, you can keep it there. I'm just waiting. Thank you. And where's Mr. Hicks? What is happening up with your case?
The district attorney is trying to contact.
Okay. All right. So the people we have left are Garcia, Carry On, and Campos, and Collins. And Mr. Cantrell, did you get a chance to confer with the state on this bond motion for,
Did Your Honor.
are you all in agreement or no?
We are $45,000 bond. Court sees that.
And just, if I think look at the chart, but her original bond was 15,000.
And I think, Judge, I don't think she's gonna be able to make bond anyway. We have a new court date, she picked up a new offense, and we're probably gonna plead that out next Sunday. Just look.
All right, and the court has reviewed all of the information. Just so everyone will know, I'm just not going with the state and the defense's agreement. I have followed all of the rules and the guidelines that have been established by the new rules for the legislature. Let me find, who is the complainant? I'm trying to find the indictment here. Okay, I found it. Yes, her next court date is January 9th. And Ms. Ferguson, you see where Mr. Cox is to let him know that Everybody's going back by 11:30.
Did you follow our state's recommendation?
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Let me go get my copy. All right, thank you.
May I be excused to go to 75th, and I'll be back in 10 minutes. I'll leave it spot.
Oh, okay. All right, thank you.
One mile.
Wouldn't have landed on the mic.
He was originally on the song. He was. No, they said he was, he got bags on. The front door.
Yes. And let him know who his attorney is and you can give him the contact information. Sure.
I understand, then who still shooting? What are you going for? Who are you going to add in your objection? The police shot at them and they hit him. It's just the story.
Again.
I'm not. But he is, I find him quite entertaining and enjoyable. But yeah. You gotta do, like this one. And oh, yeah. But wrap. On the old bones. Yeah. Stock. They can get rid of 4 pieces. 2,000. You must have, you must have. You know, how do you feel? I started off with generous. That was my Christmas.
Yeah, you didn't show it. On accident. That was an accident. Okay.
I'm not trying to move it just to keep it away. Yeah, see it. I gave you a sale. It was already special. Alright, I'm just gonna- here. Alright. It's like Black Friday. but Not Friday. no. What's me? Yeah. That's why I'm ready again.
Oh, no. But did you remember your password? He didn't show up. Yes. The alternate amendments conditions.
You have dollar.
He was supposed to plead on Susan this morning.
Yeah.
I would laugh so hard.
Danielle was there. He didn't show up.
I mean, your last name is good enough. Oh, dismiss.
Yeah.
Oh, Norma, do you need my sheet for the dates? And then there are cases that came off docket. Dates.
Martinez right there. Thank you.
All right, so Mr. Cox, what is happening with Mr. Collins?
Firm with the probation department.
Okay.
NPR said,
All right, thank you.
I'll take the court. Court vote.
If you can mute us, everyone just give me 5 minutes. This is a
No, man, no, man.
Oh, this is the phone. All right, thank you. All right, everyone, the court is getting ready to go on break. And it's a break for the new year.
No, it's like out.
Yeah,
Next year break.
like 2022 break.
Yes.
Your office will not be there next.
You better say goodbye.
Yes.
Your office.
Let's wrap it up.
Hey. But you know what? If you listen to that song, he wasn't in the right. On the Manhattan, he wasn't in the right. Oh, yeah. Let me just tell you, my heart broke with Cochise. And you know what's so funny? You and I are the only ones who know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Nobody else has seen it.
When y'all talk sometimes, it's like, it's a foreign language. Y'all talking about stuff, if y'all already know what you picked up on the conversation.
Brenda, that's when you knew about the China cabinet.
See?
You remember the
Yeah, I
China
know.
cabinet?
I think I'm ready to,
You know, every young child should watch that movie. Because Brenda, in it, the children threw a house party. And there ended up being a fight at the house party and they broke that girl's mom's China cabinet. So if
that
people,
soundtrack was.
oh, they should have won an Oscar for the soundtrack.
What movie is that, Judge?
Cooley High,
Which one?
Cooley High.
Cooley High?
But Sean, do you know Cooley High? All right, has other people seen Cooley High?
No, it's on my list.
All right, I'm disappointed.
It's on my list now.
Oh my gosh, I'm so
I know
disappointed.
Coolio.
Yeah, I'm so disappointed in all of you all.
What you're describing, Judge, it reminds me of the movie, I'm describing the court, that movie, with- what do you call him, something?
Who was in there?
Seriously, he wraps himself in foil or, yeah, cellophane, that one.
Yes.
It's not comical like that.
What's his name?
Bill, Jamie Foxx?
Jamie Foxx and Bill, what's the guy?
Yes, I know the name of the movie, but I don't think we should say it out loud.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It reminds us of the comical of this. What was it called? Cooley what?
Cooley High.
Cooley High. Cooley High.
No, Cooley.
My booty call. That's all. Okay.
And you know that the guy who plays in that movie was actually previously married to Aretha Franklin.
Really?
Yes.
But you know, a lot of people.
And the guy who played Cochise was actually in Welcome Back, Carter.
That movie was a spinoff of a sitcom.
Yes.
The one with,
But if you watch Cooley High, you will cry. To yesterday. You're not talking about what's happening.
what's that? That's a spinoff of Cooley High.
No, oh, that is. You're so right. You know, that was the year where they had What's Happening. That's My Mama. Baby, I'm Back.
It's a spinoff. And what happened to that is the reason they didn't have a basketball player in it. And they put the dance.
Raj and Dance.
Because the censors didn't want a black young basketball player guy in the sitcom.
Yes.
And that's why they put the other effect out.
Yeah. I remember. All right, so are you guys ready? And Mr. Cantrell, what are we doing with your client?
We're trying to negotiate, please. We're almost there.
Okay,
Well, we haven't been able to reach it. We can just, so we have to set it for contested. And I'm gonna ask the court to, there's no, I don't think my client has a bond on NPR.
Mhm.
And if they, I think it's a
It's a deferred.
deferred, I think it's entitled to bond, we're gonna have the court set.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, can I get a contested hearing set on Mr. Collins?
Yeah, I can do.
And my understanding, he has a case that's unindicted, so defense will need a chance for discovery. So probably like the third or last week in January, is that,
The 30th.
is that enough time?
I think anything on the first of February, I like that month, February.
I hear you. Okay, and you and I are the only people who know what we're talking about.
It's a good month.
February 6th.
All right, February 6th.
That's for Collins. correct?
Yes, and that'll be for contested. And if you all want to speak about the bond. And then see if you all can come in agreement. If you can't, then I'll say,
You won't agree, Judge.
okay. All right, and I need the file on this one.
I'll get $75. Three times the original, take that.
Oh, do you need for something?
You shoot somebody? Oh.
Here you go. You're welcome. All right, Mr. Cox, on Mr. Collins' bond, I'm gonna have to have that set. So you all can bring me all the information that I need on that one.
But
And if needed, I can have the magistrate set it.
okay, we'd like to do it before.
Okay.
Can we do it sometime this week?
Oh, yeah, it'll be done this week. There are magistrates here. Okay. And I will make sure to text if there's no objection. I'll text the magistrates that are on duty to let them know they have permission to set it.
Judge, we're gonna need a reset on that case.
Okay. It'll be in the new year.
That's fine.
All right, what date?
I can do the 20th.
All right, Mr. White, we're gonna bring you back on January 20th.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you. All righty, so if you all are not done, we're clearing the courtroom.
I think
So-
it's going over plea paperwork.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
What? You found the benefit of the. It'll get, continue getting.
It's the way on this one, they didn't attach the order, you can just let it expire.
Take the step back.
I'll run upstairs with you.
Okay, all right, thank you. Oh, man. All right, well, we will be seeing everybody after the new year. So everyone be safe. Remember what Brenna, you know what my grandmother would always say? People will get there right at the door to the new year and don't make it because they start doing silly things and taking unacceptable risks.
Yes.
So let's not do that. I hope to see everyone in the new year. Even if I were to win the lottery, I would come back to let everybody know I won the lottery. So I wouldn't leave, but I'd let everybody know so you wouldn't say like, what happened to Judge Boyd?
We appreciate that, Jay.
Yes, I would come back,
Come back.
but I would come back and I would probably not be able to stop grinning,
Oh, well, I'm about to run down.
which would not work depending on the type of case that I would hear.